system. That's where the attacks on DEI are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm glad that you brought up what you did, because I want to go back to what anticyclosis is. It's the natural rise and fall of civilizations.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really struggling because we see, well, let me just explain the cycle of anticyclosis. You know, the United States is going to be 250 years old next year.
Wow. Okay.
2026.
Okay.
From 1776 to 2026.
Mm-hmm.
Most democracies only last about 250 years, whether people realize it or not.
Interesting.
So that's just the natural ebb and flow of greed and power that typically occur.
Mm-hmm.
And so most civilizations arise from what we call mobocracy. You know, it's tribalism.
Mm-hmm.
And then people decide finally we need to have a leader, you know, somebody we can all rally around. And that typically is when you see a monarch, you know, emerges. So the United States has had all of the above. You know, people came here 1619, they brought their slaves and they, you know, made settlements, and there was mob rule.
Mm-hmm.
And then the King of England decided that this was going to be, you know, a territory of England. And so we had a monarch. Then people got sick of the monarch. They called him a tyrant. We had the Boston Tea Party, and they said no taxation without representation. And they you know, we had the American Revolution. And so you go from the mobocracy to the monarchy to the tyrant. And then after that, you have, you know, what's called an aristocracy. So aristocracy is when you have the people who have either wealth, power, or intelligence, and they start making all the decisions for people.
Okay.
That's where we get our founding fathers from.
Right.
You know, you get Benjamin Franklin, who's on $100 bill. He's never elected president.
Right.
He's on $100 bill.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He was an aristocrat. And, you know, you had all these people who framed and determined, well, this is how we want to be governed and this is how we want to be ruled. And they actually studied Polybius and his cycle of civilizations when they created, you know, the United States Constitution, because they were hoping that if they utilize the best elements of everything, monarch being the executive branch, you know, Congress, you know, being a voice of the people, and then the court system, if they, you know, weave all three of those things together, that maybe they can create a society that wasn't susceptible to the natural ebbs and flows of civilization.
We see that's not working.
We haven't been